Hi everyone, welcome. Let's talk about how we multiply and divide numbers with scientific notation. So I'll be honest, there's two different ways you can do this. The first way is the more correct way where you analyze the number. You multiply the coefficients, you multiply the bases, and then you combine the number at the end. The second way is to put everything into a calculator and have the calculator do all the work for you. The calculator method works. You just have to be extremely particular about your parentheses, because if you mess up your parentheses, you will get the wrong answer in the end. So let me show you the long way, the more technically correct way, and then I'll show you the calculator method. Here I have an example of a problem where I am multiplying two numbers in scientific notation against each other. When I'm multiplying numbers in scientific notation against each other, what I'm going to do is separate out the coefficients from the base with the exponent, okay? So if you think about it just in terms of math, technically I'm multiplying the coefficient against this base with the exponent, and I'm multiplying this coefficient against the base of the exponent. So it doesn't change the number if I rearrange how I am multiplying, right? So for example, if I change it to look like this, I'm not changing the number, right? All I'm doing is kind of rearranging my expression. But by rearranging it like this, I'm making the calculations much, much easier to do. Okay? So what I'm going to do is rearrange the expression so that my coefficients are being multiplied, and then so that my bases are being multiplied. So I'm going to grab my calculator. I'll be honest, I'm using my phone as a calculator, and I highly recommend, I've got an iPhone. This is my little lock screen configuration. Unlock it when you're using the calculator, because that lets you go from this version to this version, which is much more useful in my chemistry class. Okay? So 4.12 times 5.09. If we were in person, I would make you use the scientific calculators I have in class, but we're not in person, so gonna do what we gotta do. Okay, so 4.12 times 5.09, that's 20.9708. I'm gonna round that to 20.97. That's close enough. So that's that number there, times. Now let me combine my bases. You can do this in a calculator. 10 to the, where is it? To the fourth power times 10 to the minus 2 power. That didn't work. Okay, you can do it in a calculator, but I don't recommend it. It's actually kind of difficult. Here's an easy way to do it, okay? These both have the base 10. So I'm just gonna write down 10, and then I'm multiplying them against each other. So what I'm gonna do is add the exponents to each other. So 4 plus -2 is going to give me 2. So I multiply the coefficients, I multiply the bases, and the way that I multiply the bases is I keep base 10, and then I add the coefficients together. Now this is almost done, right? Almost done. This looks like scientific notation. The only problem I have here is that my new coefficient is greater than 10. And remember, it has to be smaller than 10. So I have to fix this. I have to move my decimal place over 1 position. So instead of 20.97, I'm going to have 2.097. And because I'm moving this decimal point over 1, I have to change my exponent here, right? So this number used to be larger than 1. So I'm going to add 1 here because I moved this over 1 position. If you don't trust me that this works out, the other way you can do it is by writing out this whole number out. So 20.97 times 10.297, right? 1, 2, that'll get me this. This is the whole number. And then rewrite it. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that works. So this is how I multiply scientific notation numbers. I literally multiply my coefficients, and then I multiply the bases. Now, let's say I want to do the calculator version, okay? I'm going to do my best to show you my calculator so that it's as clear as possible. When you're doing the calculator version, parentheses are your best friends, okay? In your calculator, at least most of us have iPhones. If you have an Android, there should be an equivalent version on the Android. I'm not sure. In your calculator, you guys see this EE? Oof, it's not clear. It's right there. It's EE. EE means times 10 to. Doesn't make any sense, but that's what it means, okay? So EE means times 10 to. So what I'm going to do is open parentheses, 4.12 times 10 to the fourth power, close parentheses, okay? That's my first number, 4.12 times 10 to the fourth power, but I need parentheses on either end. Then I'm going to press times, open parentheses. This is critical. 5.09 EE negative 2, close parentheses, and I get that number, 20.97, which I just figured out. 20.97, okay, 2097 is my answer, right? This here, because it's smaller than a million in my calculator, it gives me the full number, so I still need to convert it to scientific notation at the end. Once it gets really, really big, then it'll give it to you in scientific notation on the calculator. So that's multiplying. Let's practice dividing, because dividing is a little bit harder. Same exact concept, just a little bit harder. Okay? So when I'm dividing, I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to separate my coefficients from my bases. Except now, because I'm dividing, I have to keep that in mind, right? So when I'm dividing, I can rewrite this like this. So it's 9.18 divided by 3.6 times 10 to the fourth divided by 10 to the sixth. Right? All I did was just split this down the middle, which I can do because everything is multiplied against each other. Now let me stick this into my calculator. 9.18 divided by 3.6. That gets me 2.55 times. And then now I'm going to work on my base. Okay? 10 to the fourth divided by 10 to the sixth. I'm still going to have a base of 10. Because I am dividing, I'm not going to add my exponents. I'm going to subtract my exponents. Okay? Because I'm dividing, I need to subtract the exponents from each other. Top exponent minus bottom exponent. In this case here, it's already correctly written because my decimal point is in the correct position after this division here. I'm not always going to be that lucky. Very frequently, I'm going to have to rewrite my final number to make it match the right formatting. So that's how I do division the proper way. Now let's show us how to do division calculator way. If you think it was important to have parentheses when you were doing multiplication, it is absolutely vital to have parentheses on when you are dividing numbers using scientific notation. If you don't use parentheses, your computer, or sorry, your calculator will get it wrong. Your calculator is stupid, right? It'll do exactly what you tell it to, and it will not predict what you want, okay? So if I'm actually gonna erase all this and show you what your calculator is going to do if you don't put parentheses in. If I don't do parentheses, my calculator is going to do 9.18 times 10 to the 4th, so far so good, divided by 3.6, so far so good, times 10.6. Your calculator is going to go in order starting from the left. So it's going to multiply, divide, and then multiply, right? So this whole number is going to get multiplied by 10 to the 6th, which is incorrect. It's not what you want. You want this entire number to be what you divide by, okay? So moral of the story is that parentheses are king when you are doing division for scientific notation. So let's try this on my calculator. So 9.18 EE4, close parentheses, divided by parentheses open 3.6 EE6, close parentheses, equals 0.0255. Okay. Unfortunately, you need to have the answer in scientific notation, but we know how to do that. Okay, my decimal point started here. I want it behind the first non-zero integer. That's right there. So 1, 2. Okay, 2.55 times 10. I started off with a number smaller than 0. I'm moving the decimal to the right. That means I'm going to have a negative exponent. That's how you multiply and divide. I would love it if you guys did it the proper way, where you separate the coefficients and the bases. If that is getting too complicated and too stressful, you can use a calculator, but you must use parentheses. You'll notice that all of the problems I gave you have parentheses everywhere, because if you don't use parentheses, you will get it wrong. Alrighty, good luck with the practice.